Welcome to the Customer Service University. This 12-part series equips CX professionals with the insights to excel in the industry. Join us as we unlock the secrets to becoming a leader in customer experience with guidance from top experts. Your journey to the top begins now. Welcome back, everyone. We're on Lesson 9, Boosting Your Contact Center's Capacity. I'm so excited to have Manu back. He has such an extensive background in contact centers, a long history in developing them. And today we're going to just get into his knowledge about boosting contact center capacity. Manu, welcome back. Thank you for sharing your knowledge on this lesson as well. You know, Manu, let's just talk about the challenges that face contact centers, especially in building capacity. Can you just start by talking about the common capacity challenges in contact centers?
Usually, every traditional contact center will face, these three challenges. Increasing call volume, which is increasing your wait time. Your volume fluctuates so much that now you're not able to identify exactly how many agents do you need at what time. Or your average handle time and hold times are so high that other customers are getting frustrated and the sentiment is going down. These are the key three issues that we see almost in every traditional contact center. And it's equally easy to resolve as well. When we talk about strategies, that can help us implement and resolve these issues. As far as very high wait times and high call volume are concerned, we should be able to look at things that can help you route the calls automatically. Also, this helps you ensure that you have right WFM solutions that are intelligently analyzing your call volume patterns and allocating agents and resources the same way. Plus, if you use AI to understand exactly what are some friction points or points that take too long, and that is increasing your AHT and hold times, you'll be able to understand exactly what to fix and be able to reduce those.
I love how straight and to the point you are. So let's get into reducing short duration calls. How have reductions in short duration calls directly contributed to increasing operational capacity at call centers?
I would love to talk more about it actually. This is it is a very important point that we usually see traditional contact centers not look at. People usually only look at longer duration calls to understand what's happening there and try to solve it. But one key thing that a lot of contact centers forget is if you have a huge number of at least 40 to 50% of short duration calls that are getting resolved quickly, that means that all of them are mostly eligible for self-serve. Those are repetitive tasks like resetting a password, giving somebody an account number, telling somebody, hey, where is your order at? Real human being shouldn't really be doing these repetitive jobs. In fact, we have seen that when we put automation to take away the boring day-to-day repetitive work, agents, the sentiment of agents as well as retention improved because now people were engaged in more problem-solving scenarios than just giving somebody, password reset all the time. Once you are able to understand what number of calls actually contribute to the lower call duration volume, you should understand the use cases that will help you automate this. For an example, are people only calling because they need to reset a password? If that's the case, then let's go ahead and let's implement self-serve password reset strategies, and you will be able to reduce this further.
I love that because we're all tired of these short duration repetitive tasks. But in order to do that, don't we need some technologies? What kind of conversational or AI machine learning tools do we utilize to make this whole situation work?
Oh, absolutely. So you will need to start by just looking at the data. In data science world, we call it exploratory data analysis. Just exploring the information you have to understand what's what first. So instead of just deciding what to automate because, 5 people feel that this is the right thing that is coming in or relying on siloed data set, I would recommend the first thing you should do is understand the true call volume drivers. Just look at last 10 days to 1 month call data and understand what's driving these volume. Use conversational analytics to mine this information and surface information like what's driving. For an example, as I said earlier, are people calling for password reset? Are you able to resolve them very quickly? Are people calling because their order status is not updated or they want to make some minor modification on this account? So use conversational mining information first, technology first, to be able to understand why people call. And once you have that information, then we use automation technologies like chatbots, self-serve to be able to reduce that call volume.
I love that because you're talking about we have all this call center data. We can look at it over the course of 10 days. So it's a pretty quick analysis. And you're saying by analyzing all of the data, it will reveal these short duration call opportunities. And then it's a matter of just applying, is it off-the-shelf technologies or they're easily accessible technologies that can resolve some of these simple tasks and then start to move our call center teams into higher engaging, more rewarding interactions with humans?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, Dennis, when you think about it, if your agents are able to respond to something within 2 minutes and solve it, then all the data already exists and it's with you. The only thing you need to do is actually integrate these channels and ensure that you are able to automate those conversations by having right information integrated.
I'm sure the audience would be curious about a case study because some of us like to just hear the story of it. Do you have a case study of how this plays out? Can you give us an example?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, let's talk about it. So one of our very large telecommunication provider customer had a very similar problem. They were somewhere around at 6,000 agents and the agent number was increasing almost every day. However, it was not really reducing in-queue wait times. It was not improving customer sentiments. So no matter how much they were doing to ensure that contact center capacity is always what's needed, they weren't really able to improve KPIs that mattered. So when we looked at the entire information set from last 30 days, what we identified was that a lot of the calls, almost 30 to 40% of the calls were just from people who were trying to understand, hey, how can I, change this information in my account? Or how can I go ahead and see why you billed me this XYZ? Or what is my bill date sometimes? Or I'm moving, what do I do? Each one of the responses for all of them was something that then agent will drive the customer to. So it's not like agent is gonna pick the phone up and say, hey, I can do it right here for you. Agent will provide more information on here is how you can see the bill date, here is how you can see the bill charges, here is how you make account modification. So this was a knowledge problem, not an action problem where you need somebody to drive an action which you can't. Once we understood this, we decided to work in 3 specific buckets: people, process, and technology. What are some use cases that we can just fix or by engaging people? For an example, agents telling the customer at the end of the call, hey, here is how you can self-serve next time. Process. How do we ensure that our processes are aligned right so that the customer doesn't have to worry about a bill date or worry about a new charge in their bill? There should be a text and email telling them what the charges are for. And the third specifically was technology, where we took automation tools who were able to provide this information to the customer by using chatbots, by ensuring that this customer information is available in the customer's account. And just by doing this, we were able to reduce their HD by almost 1.5 minutes. Imagine 6,000 agents with the AHD, which has already been reduced by 1.5 minutes. Their contact center capacity actually improved by 35%. They were taking 35% more calls in the same agents, and it resulted in $2.9 million saved. $2.9 million saved in only 6 months.
The world is going to this higher efficiency and it increases capacity. And so many people think that what that means is a reduction in headcount. And in fact, I'll share with you, I was judging a competition just last week for the US Customer Experience Awards, where I awarded the Gold Award for the best contact center. And one of the things we talked about was the reduction in cost and the reduction in headcount. And what I like about what you're doing is you're increasing capacity. You're not reducing the headcount, you're increasing capacity. So it's favorable to the existing agents. They get more rewarding work, and you're not decreasing the opportunities for agents, which I always care so much about. But in order to do all of this, there's got to be the training and the evolution of the customer care agent. Can you talk a little bit about what kind of training goes on during a transition like this?
Oh, absolutely. So there are two key pieces that you will have to ensure that people are trained and ready to adapt to. One is if you're using a technology like Agent Assist, which is not fully automated conversation, but more about ensuring that we are empowering agents to find the right solution for the customer very quickly. So they don't have to search knowledge bases and so on. So if you're implementing this, you have to ensure that agents are ready to be able to use the Agent Assist technology to its maximum efficiency. And the second will be remedial training based on what you are finding in the data. Sometimes we just don't empower our agents enough for them to resolve being able to resolve customers problem quickly enough. We also, in most of these analysis, we have also looked at agent effort. And one thing that we have identified is agent effort directly results into a higher customer effort. And some key things that we saw there was when agents were struggling to find the information that they needed. Maybe it's because there is a training gap where agents do not know exactly how to find this information, which can quickly be fixed using remedial training. Or the information is not available at the right sources, but right training to ensure that agents are able to find it. Also ensuring that agents are able to resolve call quicker by ensuring your top performers taking the behaviors that your top performers are following and replicating it across all the agents. These are some type of trainings that will help you improve your contact center capacity very quickly. Always learn from what your best agents are doing, replicate those call behaviors into other agents, plus ensure that you are training agents in the moment as you find opportunity using technologies like conversational analytics. Take that information back and train agents to be able to ramp up faster. In fact, now you also have automated simulation based trainings where the moment you are able to find an opportunity that an agent can fix very quickly, an automated simulation training can be assigned to the agent in the moment and they are able to self-serve right there instead of waiting for anybody to come back to them after the fact and getting trained.
So much when we talk about training, it's about how to somehow make the agent better because they've made a mistake or they don't understand how to serve. What you're really talking about is real-time training to evolve the agent to become better at upskilling themselves. And I love the empowerment aspect of that. There's also all of this resource management that has to take place. So can we talk about resource management improvements alongside all of this training and technology and transformation? For instance, when you improve qualified call rates, and you enhance resource management, how does that affect overall productivity? Because you have all these moving pieces. How does productivity change?
That's a good question. So the moment you are able to increase your qualified call rate, you're directly impacting how productive the agents are being on the calls and your overall productivity, because now you're spending much more time on qualified calls. So qualified call rate is a very big metric when it comes to automating the routine task. Once you automate the routine task, all the calls that are going to your agent should be something that cannot be automated and something that you need the agent to be able to help with. If the agents still keep getting day-to-day tasks, day-to-day password reset and self-service chats or calls, then they are spending too much time on that. The one key thing of doing this is by analyzing your fail rate. Understand where your automation is failing and keep making those in the moment tweaks. Analyze your automation fail rates every 30 days to be able to understand where it fails. And once you have that, and once you improve your qualified call rates, your agents now will be able to take calls which are, of course, which are difficult and have a problem that you need a person to solve. And plus, by using your workforce management properly, now you will be able to allocate right resources at the right times. So now the in-queue call time decreases because your WFM is augmenting the right staff based on the predictive patterns of when the call volume is increasing or decreasing.
There's transformation for the people, for the industry, for the call center, efficiencies, a lot of different improvements. but there's obviously implementation challenges as we increase capacity and we adopt this new way of doing business. Can you talk about some of the hurdles for implementing these improvements and how to overcome them?
Oh, absolutely. One key hurdle that you will always face in any contact center the moment you begin is the silos that you have to work with them. For an example, if you will have to integrate with a lot of tools, and all of these tools will have their own data silos. So you have to ensure that every tool in your tech stack is communicating with each other, and you're integrating every tool to be able to provide you the right information that you would need. For an example, your telephony should be connected, right, with your automation tool. Your automation tool actually be plugged into your conversation AI tool, so that you can close loop this entire process of finding, implementing, and monitoring. The second challenge you will face is ensuring you are communicating very clearly. Everybody needs to know the vision. Everybody needs to understand that this technology is being implemented to empower them. One of the biggest mistakes that a lot of contact center make is that they start by implementing a technology first and then communicate. By that time, you have already built perceptions. You have already built fear in people's mind. Instead of that, if you communicate that this technology will actually help and empower you to do your job right, you are already starting with the right expectation. I was an agent, Dennis, a long time back, and if somebody came to me and told me, hey Manu, this real-time agent assist is now gonna help you find all the information that you have to search within 13 different windows while you are on call, I would have celebrated and I would have accepted it right there. So it's about communicating the impact clearly. And the third key thing, you need to define clear use case and have right involvement with the right people. A lot of times we just take a technology because it sounds sexy. Okay, AI, I'm gonna implement it. Let's ensure that we have a very clear use case of why we need this technology, what it's gonna impact, and then involve the right teams so that we don't end up building our own data silos.
All right, well, thank you for pointing those out. Communication is so important during change. People always underestimate the importance of bringing people along during the transition. But let's say we do these things that you've mentioned. We adjust these shorter term calls. We enable the agents with better training. We communicate these transitions. We implement technologies. We obtain these efficiencies and these capacities. How do we evaluate that success? Because so many of these promises in the call center industries are just that, they're promises. How do we know that this operational success is happening? How do we measure these enhancements?
That's a good question. And the answer is actually very simple and something that as a contact center you should always go by. Always look at the final impact of this technology implementation. A lot of times these tech vendors will try to tell you things like, hey, look, this is the fail rate, this is the average accuracy, or XYZ. But what you should focus on is, did your average handle time really go down? Did your in-queue wait times decrease? Are you resolving customers' issues quicker? And are you ensuring that they are not waiting too long? Also, did your contact center capacity get impacted in any way? Are you taking more calls now with the same number of agents? And one more thing that can help you ensure that you are also looking at the impact of this technology is by analyzing sentiment of your customers. Do you see a net increase in the sentiment drivers like, hey, I was waiting too long, or you know what, this is taking too long to resolve? These are some key metrics that you should look at to understand if automation has actually impacted contact center capacity.
Fair enough. All right, Manu, since you're an expert on this, let's talk about what happens next. What's looking forward? What's going to happen after all of this happens? What's the next thing to boost capacity in the call center?
The next big thing I am certain will be agent assist, who are also helping you make real-time decisions. So now you don't have to research a lot of information to be able to reach to a conclusion before providing that to a customer. While you are speaking to the customer, think of it as an angel on your shoulder. Your angel on your shoulder quickly analyzes the conversation, finds the relevant information and gives it back to you So now you are able to resolve this information and resolve problems very quickly. For an example, a customer came in and he wanted some more information. Let's take an example on his bill increase, right? As an agent, if somebody came to you and said, hey, my bill increased by $20, I need to understand what's up here. You will have to go first research the customer's account. Then you will have to go and research the plans he was on, what consumptions was, and then come back and provide this information. All of this is gonna take at least 1 or 2 holds while the customer is waiting. Imagine while the customer is speaking, a real-time agent assist pops up a window saying, hey, this is the plan, this is the consumption, say this to the customer. And now you just look at that, it has found all the information, you come back to agent and you say, hey Mr. Customer, I apologize that this information wasn't provided to you earlier. Your consumption was this much, this was the plan you were on, and this is the reason you got a better bill, you got a higher bill. In fact, I'm also gonna help you with an offer today that can help you decrease this. And now the agent assist is also helping you sell ancillary services.
It sounds like the future of customer care is just getting better and better. What advice would you have for any customer contact center leader who wants to maximize operational capacity and efficiency?
My advice would be to leverage technology. Of course, as I talked about a while back, ensure that you have agent assist, ensure that you have conversational analytics. Unless you can understand the conversations, unless you understand what your customers want, you can't really implement anything and be able to gain a tangible impact out of things. So the first thing you should do is understand what your customers want. Leverage technology to listen to your customers' conversation. Leverage technology to automate them as much as possible, and ensure you are always monitoring and correcting the things. Don't think of technology as set it and forget it. Ensure that you monitor the impact and you keep correcting it. The second key thing would be to invest in training your people. Right now, a lot of people are talking about Gen AI, ChatGPT is out, ChatGPT 4.0 is out. Every day there is a new model in the market, right? But there is a lot of perceptions in the market about how it really impacts contact centers. Well, let's be honest, contact center industry, I think, will be the first and one of the largest consumer of this tech. But a lot of perception in the market currently is hindering that evolution. So train your people right. Help them understand how large language model works, how AI works, how conversational intelligence work. So now that they understand how to implement it in the use case that they can solve. Because trust me, everybody has amazing ideas. They just need to find the right tools. And the last thing would be ensuring that you manage your resources right. Invest in tech to be able to understand optimization, real-time capacity, in-queue wait times, key metric that impact contact center capacity. And then take that information back and plan your resources right, not just the agent taking the phone calls, but the people supporting them.
Fair enough. Manu, thank you so much for helping our audience learn about boosting contact center capacity. Audience, next week, we're going to be learning how to build the perfect contact center team. Manu, thanks again for your expertise. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Oh, it's always a pleasure talking to you, Dennis. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us for this Customer Service University lesson. Discover how QEval can enhance your operations with real-time analytics, predictive insights, and comprehensive quality management. Visit QEvalPro.com/learn to connect with our experts and exclusive support.